whilst Kosi is finishing up, I want to introduce to you our next speaker. Now, our next speaker is going to probably leave you shocked from beginning to end. I asked her how to introduce herself, and she said, tell them I'm deeply unserious and slightly problematic. And I can assure you that's what her speech is going to be all about. And it comes from the fact that she is a politics student. And if you know a politician, you know that they are deeply unserious and slightly problematic. And so our next speaker, with the title of Is Stan Culture Sustainable? We have Lethabo. Let's give Lethabo a round of applause.
Have you guys ever wondered why we all have this ability, this desire to follow someone that we don't even know? Maybe it's a celebrity, a soccer player, or even a famous singer. I'm going to need you guys to do me a favor. Everyone, take out your phones. I'm being serious. Everyone, take out your phones and open up Instagram. Once you're there, type in __.lele. Okay, I'm going to repeat myself, and in the words of Jacob Zuma, listen carefully. __.lele. Okay? Now that we've gotten all the formalities out the way, I just want to say thank you so much for jump-starting my Instagram influencing career. I will remember your follow, especially when I'm on holiday in Dubai on a yacht wearing a completely appropriate outfit. Unfortunately, I don't know the reason why we all have this desire to follow. And my therapist told me that it's apparently unhealthy to stalk someone on social media, no matter how attractive they are now. So once I left my therapist's office, I was casually scrolling through social media. And after seeing a Temu ad for the latest Louis Chang handbag, I realized the reason why people like Taylor Swift and Cristiano Ronaldo are some of the most popular figures on the internet. I also realized the reason why 69% of women in relationships with mediocre men hate it when the Premier League season starts. The reason for all of this stands. Ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to introduce you to something that you're probably very familiar with, stan culture. And I, along with you, will investigate its sustainability for the future of South African politics. Now, some of the older members in the audience, don't worry, I'm not pointing you out, might be wondering, what exactly is stan culture? Stan culture is the idea where people behave in extreme ways, often creating communities where they blindly and reverently support the object of their worship. In these communities, they band together to ostracize and demonize anyone that goes against that particular object. This behavior usually happens on social media, but it often has very real and very negative consequences in our real lives. To better explain this phenomenon, I'll be using Jacob Zuma, or Jay-Z, as I personally know him, and the MK as a case study of sorts, to further illustrate why I believe stan culture is unsustainable. Although the term stan culture might be brand new, the phenomenon is as old as day to people like Donald Trump and Jacob Zuma. It's helped their respective political careers and even Jacob Zuma's acute modeling career. I highly recommend that everyone Google the spear after this. The MK is a clear demonstration of stan culture working in action. The party gained an immense amount of popularity and support, bypassing a lot of the challenges that newer parties go through, earning 40% of the vote in KZN and 58 seats in parliament. I mean, this is pretty impressive, considering that they were only an official political party for about 6 months. I mean, people like David Kabwa have been trying for years, yet the only seat he has is the one in the audience. Identity is a big thing in South Africa. And the impact of our dark history, as well as globalization and westernization, has really affected how we see political figures in this country. A standard of sorts has kind of developed. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. The tailored suit, the really good English, the type of English that can pronounce conscientiously correctly. And even the go-to liberation songs, so they seem a little bit cultured. Even in a post-1994 South Africa, there haven't been political figures with a strong, identifiable identity. Jacob Zuma saw the gap in the market and decided to brand himself as unapologetically Zulu, unapologetically black. He became the type of president that would wear mkele along with his horribly, horribly tailored suit, doing everything he can to closely identify with the common people. Jacob Zuma's stands and the MK were everywhere during the election period, including every correctional center north of Sun City, campaigning for a party that they had no tangible information about. During this time, it wasn't uncommon to see a Jay-Z stan on Twitter be shocked that the party that they so reverently and blindly support wants to take away their constitutional rights. Even when this model of political support falls to its knees, all that Jay-Z has to do is host a press conference, probably speak in isiZulu. He'll do this against the backdrop of his multi-million rand home, paid for by the poorest of the poor in society, in a village where the average person can't even afford to hold up an orange and yell, "Really, Ramaphosa? Really?" This shows that stan culture relies on manipulation and fosters a hive mind mindset. To quote the magistrate's court, Jacob Zuma has been sentenced to prison for contempt of court. Stan culture clearly protects the worst people in our society and often blinds the supporters to the stans that they so blindly and reverently support. Now, I don't know if altruism is even a factor anymore. Why do we always choose some of the worst people to stan? I don't have the answers, unfortunately. But I do know that if we replace critical thinking with unwavering support, many of our political systems in this country will fall apart. So I hope you remember what I've said today, especially while you're scrolling through social media, stalking the one guy that sat in the back of your physics class. Or when you decide to follow an objectively boring soccer player. But most importantly, I hope you remember what I've said while you're standing in the queue to vote on our country's future. Thank you.